Good evening, everyone. Today is Tuesday, December 16th, 2025. It's 6 p.m. I am going to call the Village Board of Somerset board meeting into order. Let's have roll call let's have roll call.
Caleb Graham present.
Brandon Crone present.
Chris Marino.
Jessica Fleur.
Donnie Kern.
Chris Dubek.
Dan Stewart.
Let's have the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, thank everybody for coming. Next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda as presented.
Caleb Graham make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Motion made second to approve the agenda as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried. Now, next is public comment on agenda items, 2 minutes per person, 14 minutes per topic. Anybody wishing to give public comment here tonight? Anybody online? We're gonna close public comment. Next item is consent agenda.
Caleb Graham make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the consent agenda of 5A, B, C, D, and E. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, nay. That motion is carried. New business, discussion possible appointment of the building inspector. Currently, our inspector's up for a 2-year term.
2-year term. Yep.
And the inspector will be up on 12/31. I'm going to reappoint him for another 2-year term. Is Tony on by any chance?
Yes.
I was wondering, I have a quick question for Tony.
Okay,
Tony, good evening. What my question is do you normally provide reports of to the villages that you inspect of the building permits that you issue?
yeah, every month we send them a building permit report.
Excellent. And so only thing I could say is it'd be nice if you could forward that to if we could get that to, so all the board gets that list of the building permits issued to, and maybe just put it down for a point of information for us. Other than that, that's all I have. Any other questions about the appointment for building inspector? Any second on that?
Second.
Motion made and seconded to appoint building inspector of TF inspections for a period of 2 years to expire December 31st, 2027. Hearing any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you, Tony. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, guys.
Next item up is appointment of election inspectors and chief election inspectors. There is a list that was amended and provided to the board, providing for 3 chief inspectors and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 election inspectors. I'll make them,
I can make a motion to approve the ones on this list on this piece of paper here.
Second.
Done.
On this piece of paper. Second.
On this piece of paper right here in front of me. Do you want me to read it all out?
you don't have to, it's updated and it's provided to us, and I'm sure that the record will show that there was 3 election inspector, chief inspectors, and there was 2, 6, 8 election inspectors. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Next item is appointment of alternate member to the police board of review. I've talked to Aaron Morrison. And I would like to appoint Aaron Morrison he is a retired police officer. And he also sits on the fire commission, joint fire commission as a member at large. So I'd like to appoint Aaron Morrison to as an alternate member to the police board of review.
I'll make a
Second.
motion, yes, second.
Motion made, and seconded to approve that. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, nay? Thank you for that. The next item up for discussion or new business is six D, resolution designating the 25-14. Designating officials authorized to declare official intent under reimbursement bond regulations. Josh, would you like to speak on the matter?
Sure, no problem. Thanks for having me, Josh Lowe from Ellers. This actually ties together with the approval of the GEO notes. So this is related to, just IRS regulations about how you reimburse yourself from borrowed proceeds for things you've already spent money on. Usually the IRS doesn't really want that to happen. They know that communities always have logistical issues about when projects actually need to occur and how long it might take to actually set up a financing. So they want you to declare your intention to reimburse yourself with borrowed proceeds through this process. This is a totally common thing. And I think that most communities already have this set up, so you can actually just have staff fill these out for you in the future. So that's what this is.
Clear. Basically, it has to do with, issuing, Treasury Regulation Section 1.10150-2 subsection E subsection 1, basically declares that if we want to borrow money, we can do so.
If you've already spent the money in cash. So this is what we're doing for the TID 5 utilities, which has already been spent. So now we're going to spend money. Actually, what this is, it was a state trust fund loan that you already approved last month to go forward is actually going to be reimbursing this. The notes that we're going to talk about in a few minutes is going to refinance that state trust fund loan.
Okay, so do we have to do this on an annual basis, or is this gonna be an ongoing resolution?
Nope, this resolution empowers staff to be able to make these declarations on their own in the future.
For you, okay, that's my only question. So this is an ongoing thing. What's the pleasure of the?
Who are the officials?
Oh, so that's gonna be designated staff to do it. So I think it says on the resolution that we did, the clerk treasurer, the administrator, I can't remember
Do
exactly.
you want it noted as such?
Didn't it say that on the
It
resolution?
does not. It says officials or employees authorized as designated above.
It probably does below. Can I peek over your shoulder real quick? Oh, this is that one. So this is the
Village treasurer,
Yeah, that's what I thought. There we go. Resolution, form declaration.
only one that I see. Village treasurer under section, 1.
The one that we had,
Section 1,
section one.
Section.
village treasurer.
Yes, village treasurer. There, I see it now. Yep, that's what you want. Perfect.
Does that answer your question, Caleb?
It sure does.
Any other questions?
I think we do.
I'll make the motion to approve the village treasurer as the designated official to authorize and declare official intent under reimbursement bond regulations.
So are you making a motion to adopt the resolution as presented?
Second.
Yes, sir.
Okay, is there a second to that?
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded to adopt the resolution 25-14 as presented. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, nay. That motion is carried. Under new business, 6E, we are going to table that because, I got an email, we have to, I don't know if you want to speak on this now, Bob, or you want to, that this had to do with the establishment of TID 7, TID 7. And TID 7 is, not ready for this, resolution to be established yet due to its, annexing has not happened and the board review meeting in January and the timeline has been postponed.
I'll second your move to table.
Okay, motion made and seconded to table until brought up at an indefinite, another time.
That's good.
Any further discussion?
Just does the delay of the city,
Negative impacts.
yeah. No, perfect, good. No question.
No further questions? Motion, table, until, we're ready for reconsideration is on the floor. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion's carried. 6F, discussion possible approval resolution 25-16, borrowing money to pay for TID 5 cap vest. Josh.
Great. So just want to confirm, is this the most recent copy of the one that I sent over last night at like 5 o'clock, or is this one?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
That'll be in front of you.
Yep, so there are a few changes, nothing material, but I think different things that we wanted to highlight on some of these pages. So, thanks so much for having me again, Josh Lowe from Ellers. So we want to talk about the borrowing for two things. One is the initial payment for CapVest pursuant to their development agreement. And then the refunding of the state trust fund loan, which was approved last month, which still hasn't even been finalized. But the reason that we're doing that, the reason that we did the first state trust fund loan for those TID 5 utilities that we just talked about for the reimbursement is because we wanted to make you cash flush for what you've already expended before the end of the year. So we got that in with the state. That's about as quickly and as expeditious as we can do a financing, because we wanted to show that reflected on your books at the end of 2025. So since that is taken out at a rate of 6.25%, we would like to refund that for a lower interest rate now. Right? So as soon as you have to open up the books for any kind of financing or debt obligation, we would really like to think through, is there anything else that we can refund? Let's do as much as we can in that one, because you're paying us fees to set that up for you. So you might as well consolidate as much as you can into that one. So being able to refinance that state trust fund loan is a prime opportunity for you. Okay, so those are the two things that we're trying to accomplish by doing this issuance of notes. So that's our real two main obligations or our objectives for this financing. Okay. So we can go to the CapVest development here, just to really talk about that at a high level. This is agreed to, I think, last summer, 2024, some before last, if you want to think of it that way. For CapVest to do their multifamily residential construction, that's all happening. And they're currently proceeding on schedule. In fact, they asked us to delay this financing to January. It could have been done several months ago, is my recollection for that. So part of their development agreement, they're being paid in two different structures. So one is an upfront payment for about 1.16 million. That's what we're borrowing for as part of this issuance of notes. In addition to that, they have a pay-as-you-go structure for their value, and they'll get 90% of that once it's fully built up. Okay. It'll actually come in phases. So I think the first 4 million, they get 90% of that. Then the next year, when there's another 4 million, 90% of that. And that goes throughout the length of TID 5, okay, until they reach the full 3 million, or when the TID expires. So one of those two things happens.
To clarify, 90% of the actual property tax that it would be paid into that TID, right?
That's right. That's
Okay,
right.
so people ain't going, what, 4 million, 90% of that?
Right.
They're only getting the actual valuation of property taxes paid in at 90% of that. We
Correct.
keep 10, they keep 90.
You got it. Okay, so that's CapVest's agreement that was signed and approved by the board in summer 2024. Okay. So for TID 5, the current existing situation, I'm on this slide right now, the next one over. Currently for TID 5, the expenses that have been incurred are related to acquiring the property. That was a state trust fund loan from, I think, 2024, about $1 million. Utility infrastructure that we did. No, that's the wrong presentation. That's the one for TID 3.
Gotta get there.
Okay. I'll be patient.
Not IT.
Let's keep rolling.
There you go.
Rolling.
Okay, okay. It's all part of what you
Good job, Jesse.
Thank you.
We had faith in you.
Sorry. Okay, so here's where we are. So we've got about 150,000 in expenses currently, compared to about 35,000 in annual revenue that is coming to pay for those, because so far the major development that we have already has been Growing Wings. Part of that is being pledged to them through their incentive. So we know that additional development, since 2020, when we created this TID, we know that additional development or needs to occur. We're still trying to ramp up to speed. We're looking for sale of property or contributions from other funds of what we're going to be using for the next few years until this district really starts to get cash flow. So right now we're in a deficit, and that's been the way that we've been for the last few years. And I think it's starting to get a little long since we created this district in 2020. So just wanted to make everyone aware of where we're starting and where we're trying to go now that we have these financings and what needs to happen by 2041 so we can make sure this TID is successful. Okay. get more into numbers on that in a little bit. Okay, next slide, please. All right, so the next one, this is the CapVest PAYGO, really reflecting what I mentioned and Donna clarified just a few years ago. So this shows how cash actually comes through and how they receive their 90%, which I just mentioned. So in the first year, revenue year 2027, which reflects construction this year in 2025. So everything they've built this year will be valued next year in 2026, and we'll start receiving in revenue in 2027. And again, the 4 million that's here is based on what they've agreed to contribute, that their property will generate, but that might actually get valued higher or lower once the assessment actually comes in 2026. But regardless of what it is, they'll get 90% of that. So using your most current tax rates of $14.56 per thousand times what we're showing here, 4 million, that'll generate $58,236. 90% of that, which goes back to the developer, is 55,324. So the village gets to keep the extra 3,000. Mostly that's really only going to help you with your administrative costs, right? So each tax increment district that's open every year has filing fees with the DOR. A portion of staff time can be attributed to how much they're spending for that. So even when this thing is fully built out at 12.2 million, which is their pledged minimum value that they create, the delta between 178,000 and the 169, that will be a village share of about $9,000. Obviously, is not going to pay all of the bills for TID 5. So we really need additional growth to happen beyond CapVest, right? That was the intention of even when we signed the development agreement. So none of that is new information. Any other questions about the PAYGO structure or how that's checking out?
Who was the sale of the property in those revenues? The sale of the property?
Yeah.
I don't see
I think
that.
it's 236,000. That's on the next, we'll show that on the next slide, 2 slides down.
I'm ahead of you.
Yeah, 236,049. So I'll show that when it comes together with the whole
Okay.
cash flow.
I'll shut up then.
All right. So this is the projected schedule that we have based on current interest rates now for these general obligation promissory notes. So starting payments in 2027, because we'll actually wind up issuing the debt in 2026. Tonight is just a pre-sale meeting. We're going to actually sell the debt in February, right? So we're ahead of the game now, just for planning purposes, right? So again, the two things we're borrowing for are the CapVest upfront payment as part of their developers agreement contribution. And then we're also refinancing that state trust fund loan for the TID 5 utilities to put them under the freeway to the property on the other side, right? Also included there are cost of issuance, which are art fees, bond counsel fees, underwriter's discount, all those kinds of things. The true interest costs, which is kind of a blended average interest rate for all these coupons that you see here, is 4.30%, which includes a 50 basis point cushion, so 0.5% on top of that. So if we issued it today, based on current market conditions, for your A1 rating, we would actually think it'd come in under 3.8%. But for planning purposes, we always like to edge it a little bit higher just to be able to be more conservative, because I prefer to come back to you guys and share good news in the future rather than it was higher than what we anticipated. So it's always nice for it to be lower. The other thing you'll note here that is interesting, I think, is that we did interest-only payments through 2030 just to give TID 5 a little bit more time to grow rather than paying principal and interest during that amount of time. Just put a little bit less pressure on new development to occur to generate revenue. So we want to keep your payments as low as possible until that time. And if you wanted, we could actually go more aggressive on that. So in the first 3 years, it's 132,000 the first year, then it goes down to 89 and 89. We could even increase the borrowing to get rid of those payments entirely, and it would increase the size of the borrowing, but it would give even more time for TID 5 development to occur. It of course makes it more expensive in the long run, but that's another trick we have up our sleeves if that was something that you wanted to do. If you wanted to be even more cautious.
But if the TID takes off, right, we could pay it off sooner.
Right.
So if we decided to do that and growth didn't happen in that TID, we would have a cushion And if growth did happen, we could, in essence, accelerate our payment and our principal payments.
Right, but that would be until 2036. That's the earliest you'd have to prepay this.
Does that ever happen?
If the TID is going really well, it can happen. I think at
Is there any
this point
benefit?
to the prepay. Yeah, because you pay less interest costs over the future time words. Yeah. So if you did have extra cash and you didn't need it for other expenses, you would certainly want to think about doing that. So the other issue about doing it for tax increment districts is because if you do it before the expenditure period is over, sometimes you want to leave some cash in the bank to do some other improvement somewhere else in the district. So
The question is, do we need that?
yeah, I think that that's really a very circumstantial thing when you get to that point, like in 2036, when we're back here doing those annual joint review board meetings. That's really a good time to reflect and say, where are we now? What are our other opportunities? How much money do we have to reasonably make a difference for this? Or we just want to close the books on this district and move on?
What could we possibly be looking at that we need to do that for?
Yeah, that could be another set of development that comes through, you know, if that southern section of the district really starts to get a little bit more active and it hasn't been fully built out yet, and some other developer comes in and says, you know, I'd love to build 30 homes here, but I need another utility extension or some more roads, that kind of thing. Or half-mile projects, other spots in the district.
So
So
you're not saying to do it today.
no,
You're
definitely not
saying,
today.
you're saying that that's something that we look at down the road.
Yes, almost all districts that ever amend a district to add new project costs, it almost always comes later in the life of the district. For this specific one, we need so much new development that, you know, thinking about which additional projects we could do in the future is very much a down the road decision.
Down the road, meaning 1, 2 years?
My guess is probably in the 5 to 10 range at least.
The way it's set up now is is it like, you get penalized for paying early?
No, so bonds are always set up, this is something that we'll establish in the offering document, so that anyone who wants to purchase your bonds will know right up front. There is a prepayment date in 10 years, and so everyone factors that in to how they price bonds. So if we actually move that up, you know, if you told me today, Josh, we want prepayment flexibility within 5 years, you'd expect to pay an interest rate cost. So instead of getting it at 4.3%, it could be 4.6%, you know, because people want that assurance, right? If I was going to invest, I want to know that this is how I'm going to get paid for the next at least 10 years. And giving you as the issuer or anytime, like if I was going to do that for, well, I mean, your house always has prepayment flexibility, so that's a bad example. But, you know, think about that. If you had an investment and you were counting on that revenue stream, and then someone said, hey, you know what, I want that flexibility to pay you off whenever I want, you would say, great, well, what's in it for me, right? In this case, what they're saying is, that's fine. Up until that point, I want higher interest rates. So that would kind of be the trade-off that we would think about. But I think that's especially true for this as a tax increment district. Knowing that you need a lot of growth to happen between now and say 10 years from now, the odds of you getting so much development that you're going to pay for all the costs that I'm going to show in a minute on the next cash flow, we're going to get that plus enough to make a meaningful dent at prepayment seems really low. So the reason to push that up seems to be kind of non-existent in this case. There are certainly some cases where, do you guys just want me to just keep rambling on about this? I can tell you about different hypotheticals from now until like the end of the year, if you want, just as an educational kind of thing.
Let's keep it to task at hand.
Yeah, okay, no problem.
Thanks.
Sure. Anytime you guys want more education, feel free to do it. Never ask a municipal advisor to just keep talking about this stuff. It's competitive. So there you have it. But we can go to the next slide.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I know this is kind of hard to read, but this is really the core of like all the information that we're trying to get to. And I'll walk you through from left to right. And I've got really the spots that are in color are really the most important pieces. So all the way on the left, the way you read our cash flows basically is you've got the year we're in, then you've got the revenue section, and then the expenses, and then the annual balances all the way over on your right. Okay. So the most important thing that I want to focus on right now is how much additional development needs to occur to get you to fulfill the obligation which you've actually already agreed to, right?
Is that in green?
Yep, that's in green. Okay. So the things that we have here are, your current TID increment value is about 2.4 million, right? I talked about that a few slides ago. And that's generating about 35,000. In order to break even in this, we need quite a bit of new development to occur, right? And this
That's
is,
in addition to the cap vest, right? Because.
That's right.
Because the cap vest basically is cost neutral. It's
Exactly.
getting built up for long-term effects to let down the road, right?
yep, the cap vest paygo is not on this. So I wanted to focus on your existing expenses and everything that's the impact of this specific borrowing, which is that those TID 5 utilities and the TID 5, the cap vest upfront payment. So those are the two main things. Those are shown in purple in the expenses section, right? So in addition to the cap vest paygo, they're 12 million. We need to generate about an additional 30 million on top of where we already are now, right? So that includes all of the other development that is unlocked by the utilities that CAP has put in. So their total cost of their utilities is about $3.5 million. The village's contribution, which we're borrowing for tonight, is about 1.1 million, right? So you're getting at a great discount for that. The entire premise around this thing was they're gonna put in the infrastructure, they're gonna bring residents to that section. Now that that infrastructure is in place, it allows more commercial development to happen there that those residents will eventually demand. Like if I was gonna live in an apartment there, I need to get my hair cut, I need a place to go grocery shopping, you know, get gas, all that kind of thing, right? So that was part of the idea there. So that's how those utilities are going to unlock further growth. In addition to that, you've got those TID 5 utilities that go under the freeway that cost about $900,000 that should also unlock further growth. So that's already captured here. So you're already prepaying and front loading a lot of those expenses for this development to come in the back end, right?
Up to 2037.
Right, up to 2037. So that's when we arbitrarily stopped it,
So
right? All of
your plan that you're putting forth here is showing $30 million of development in the next 10 years.
give or take. So hopefully it happens faster than that.
Right.
But of course, if I had a crystal ball, we'd all be in better shape about that. So that would be fantastic.
Would be huge.
Sure. The other things that are worth noting is in the revenue section, we've got the property sale revenue right there, Donnie, to your point earlier, for that 236.49. So that helps you out in the current year. Hopefully, we've still got other land there that we would like to be able to sell to people, so they'll be buying that. If that's a couple $100,000 in various given years, that can help you as well. The other thing that we're noting here are this orange column shown as other village funds. So if there are other contributions from the general fund or the levy or the sewer in the short term, you can use that to help pay your bills as well. In this cash flow, what we're showing is that those funds get paid back as an expense line. You can see that as another orange column there to repay that. And that happens probably also starting in 2034, something like that, based on this projection. So the way that I got to that additional almost $30 million in growth is by saying we need to pay for all the debt we've taken out, plus paying back any additional village funds that have come in to get you back to breaking even for this district. It also implies that we're doing an extension to this district in 2041, which is something that state statute currently allows districts that are in a deficit to do once they reach the end of the life of the district.
But that pay goal ends in 2041.
The PIGO ends at the end of the life of the district. So
I thought it ends at the end of 2041. We extend it, that pay goal goes to us.
I'm not sure. So that's something we'd have to check in the developers.
I think that.
When I read through it,
That was kind of the caveat, is like, whoa, well, we're fronting all this stuff, but it's only to 2041. After 2041, if we extend it, we're able to recoup that additional money. So I'd look into that, but I'm pretty sure that's what I thought we had in our arsenal, that, we extend this, we're gonna be able to buy ourselves some time to get some of that money back to pay off them funds that we borrowed from.
well, that would be fortunate. So let's hope that that's the case.
Thought that was the case, but.
Regardless, it's in there, it's agreed to
Yeah,
now, so I hope you're right, and that I'm wrong. So I think that there's quite a bit that needs to happen on the development side between now and then. I think that. So what's on paper is what needs to happen to make sure that you break even. Obviously, the things that you have that you can control right now are the other village fund section, whatever you choose to contribute, whether that's from cash on hand, you choose to increase the levy by $50,000 or whatever it happens to be. Those are the things that you have direct control over. Obviously, you're trying to get control over economic development, which is not an easy thing to control. Of course, if that was a switch that I could flip on, I would love to do it for you. Not within my control. So hopefully, also, I didn't show anything here in construction 2026. Maybe something happens next year. But now the farther we get into 2025, it's harder for me to say that.
But if there is something that happens next year,
Yeah.
that would flip the switch, so to speak, right?
Of course. So that's kind of where I'm going with this. Right now, you need a lot of things to line up in your favor in terms of development, make sure that you're getting everything you need to out of this district. But all the payments that we're authorizing through this debt issuance are things that are already in agreement. Were already agreed to when you signed on to the developers agreement. Right now, we're just executing.
Any further questions? The resolution 2025-16 is basically allowing for the issuance and sale of general obligation promissory notes. My one question to you, as you mentioned before, $1.6 million, and then we are actually getting 2.210.
Yeah, because we have the CapEst payment and that refunding of the state trust fund.
So the state trust fund was how much?
993,000, I think.
That math doesn't add up, 1.6, and unless I'm.
No, it's not 1.6, 1.16, 1.11.
1.16 must be dead.
$1,116,800.
Okay,
This is on page five.
that makes more sense.
Okay.
All right.
Yep. A lot of numbers.
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
So the the resolution that's in front of you, that clears my question up on that.
Okay, and then just the last slide, we're doing the pre-sale and initial resolutions tonight. Our staff back at Ellers is working on bringing together the preliminary official statement. This is like a 40-page document that basically describes, the village, your finances, your government, how much debt you have, any other financial information that's in there. This is really what investors react to decide like how much do they want to bid on the debt issuance. So after tonight, we'll continue to work on that. And we've got a lot of activity in January and February, but we're going to have another rating call with Moody's. So they're the third-party agency that really reviews the credit strength of Somerset. So they will, again, do their own independent analysis on how strong is your economy, how any of your governance practices, how much debt do you have on tap, all those kind of things, and they'll give you a rating. I don't imagine that changing from your A1 rating right now. If anything, it'll probably go up. I think there's probably more upward potential than there is downward potential, given how much explosive growth we've really had in the community. So that's
How
a nice
often are we gonna have to go through these resolutions then? Is this something that's gonna be on an annual basis, or is this something that, because, once we got this one, it should take us for a while, right?
Oh,
We could focus on developing and hopefully
Is it
work some
just-
money into there, right, into that district?
Yeah, we'd have to talk to staff to figure out what other kind of borrowings you're having.
Well, I don't wanna have to come back here next year and have to refinance again, right?
I think you're actually out of refinanceable opportunities right now.
Perfect,
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
So anyway, quite a bit of work to do in January, February to get you ready for the actual sale date on February 17th, and then we'll close on March 10th on this issue.
Says Board of Trustees shall meet on January 20th, 2026 in accordance with notice of sale. So that's when we will consider what, after you've done their due diligence with Moody's and everything, or?
Yeah, that should actually be updated because I talked with Andrea earlier today, and we're gonna push the sale back to this February 17th.
Okay.
So I think that can be amended with just a quick vote,
What date would you want that?
February 17th.
So under section 5, change the language in January 20th to February 17th, 2026, correct? Any other changes that need to be made or anything like that before we can adopt this resolution?
Don't believe so.
And I think there's two languages on section 3, it says January 20th, 2026. You want that to February 17th as well?
Anytime it references bringing the bids back on January 20th, should all be February 17th.
Everybody hear that?
Yes.
Okay, I made the changes on my resolution. What's the pleasure of this body? For the purpose of moving this meeting forward, I will make a motion to adopt resolution 2025-16 with amendments made on January 30th to reflect February 17th, 2026.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to adopt resolution 2025-16 with the amended changes. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion's carried.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
G6G, discussion possible approval resolution 2025-17, acceptance of improvement parallel 45 cat vest. Parallel 45 cat vest. In your packet, you have listed that says the resolution with public improvements that describe a certain tax increment. Basically, we're accepting the improvements as described in the tax increment development agreement.
Moving around the buildings.
Bob?
So we actually approved this last month, but we did not do a resolution with it, and they requested a resolution to be in the books.
That's what I was wondering. So this is just based on formality of a previous board action.
Yes.
Caleb Garn make a motion to approve resolution number 2025-17.
Second. Oh, sorry.
Acceptance of improvements parallel 45 Cap Fest LLC.
Need to get one in there.
Second. Motion made, seconded to approve what he said. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. And it's carried on. Under items 6H and I in your packet are some issue statements and in regards to a couple ordinances. What my suggestion would be is because that we take these and review them in the next month and bring them back when we have legal counsel here.
We added all the green, right?
The green is addition.
And the red is.
Yeah.
Yep, okay.
Motion to the table.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to table H and I.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Motion made and seconded to table H and I until next month for further discussion. Any, do you want this to go under discussion? Do you want this to go to the respective committees for review too?
They sure could.
So maybe it goes to Public Works next.
Well, Public Works and Public
One
Safety.
each.
Yeah.
Public Works got the sidewalks and public safety. It's a clerical item on Public Works. It looks like there was, when we were reviewing all of the ordinances, that I think they might have inadvertently forgot to include some of them. And so Jessica caught them when they were dealing with that going, forgive me, what's the name of it?
Eco.
When they were doing E-code and so they need to be put back in. So I would just suggest you guys review them. I would kick them, if it's okay with you, Caleb, to the respective committees and bring them back to the board after that.
That's great. What is bituminous pavement?
That's blacktop.
Got it.
I didn't know what it was either. I'm only laughing because I'm an idiot too.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to say.
Beat myself.
Make the motion on the floor is to table the matters and refer to committees
Yes.
until next month at the village board, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that was seconded by
Brandon.
Craig. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, all opposed, nay. That motion is carried. Pardon?
Can we revisit G? I believe we need a roll call vote
On which
on
one?
that resolution. G,
On G?
what it looks like. Resolution 2025-17,
Sorry?
2025-17, one more. You know, lower left.
Wow.
Okay. Question been called for adopting resolution 2025-17 under a point of order by trustee Dubek. So we will have a roll call vote on adopting the resolution as presented. Roll call vote would be Caleb Garn.
Aye.
Trustee Brent Cohen.
Aye.
Trustee Moreno.
Aye.
Trustee Plurd.
Aye.
Trustee Kern. Aye. Trustee Dubek.
Aye.
Trustee Stewart.
Aye.
That motion has been carried. Thank you for pointing that out. And the next item on the agenda is J, updates from MSA. Okay, Chuck, your turn.
Good evening, Mr. President, board, so I put this together ahead of the Public Works meeting that didn't happen, so it's a little bit dated. The Newman Farms Athletic Complex Master Plan, we did create a couple of different concepts on that. We've got some feedback from staff now.
Do we see those plans?
Yes, next,
They're moving all over the place.
yeah.
Are they
Next-
still?
Next Public Works we will. And then the board, we've,
So February, the board maybe will see it.
in January.
So Public Works in January and then the,
Well,
Village
Public
Board.
Works in January,
Okay.
Village Board in
I
January.
can send it out as soon as we're close.
Okay.
Right now, it's like. It'd be, I think, more confusing than,
I'd just like to see what the complex looks like, that's all, sure.
sure.
So then there's the bridge inspection, that inspection's complete, we'll present that to Public Works. At the next meeting, basically talk what they found and also kind of positioning. Things for potential 80-20 funding in 2030 as well. So there's that.
Okay,
Lift station number 5,
we got power out there?
we got power, no gas, correct?
Yes.
So that they were able to start up the pumps. But they can't start up the generator yet. And there's also, just because of some of the delays this morning of pulling the pumps and everything else. Training's gonna be delayed and I'm not 100% sure if that's been identified when training will occur in that. So
No, that's good.
Does it affect anything on our end other than the fact of just getting it ready to go? And so when we're good to go, we're good to go.
yeah.
All right.
It's kind of the highlights, they're working out in Winesap Prairie, putting sanitary sewer. I don't know if they're gonna switch to water and probably good for the winter. It's getting cold and the process getting deeper. And then, there's some infiltrations in pond 100 in Pineville that isn't infiltrating like anticipated, and so we're still waiting to hear from their geotechnical consultants and their recommendations for our review. So that can be addressed in the spring. Trying to make sure that pond is infiltrating properly, or we'll adjust it if it isn't.
What was that you said?
It's in Pineville.
Pineville. And that larger one just off to the,
You have a holding pond that's failing.
out to the west there, the Grandeur. Kept raining, they were gonna try to address it this fall, but they didn't get any information from their geotechnical in a timely manner and couldn't get it dry. But it'll be addressed, it'll be taken care of. I guess that's it for me, unless you have any questions.
Just one. Winesap Prairie First Edition. Final course of bitumen placed in 2027. The utilities were started on the 18th. Are they going to continue on that? Or is it because of the frost, has it been halted until spring?
No, they're still working for a little bit longer.
Okay. They looking to put any homes, basements in before
No,
just the utilities?
yeah, the municipal utilities, the private utilities won't happen until next year.
No road building until next year.
Right, well, other than wishing you all a happy New Year and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too, John.
Merry Christmas.
See you next year for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
We got a waiver pickup.
Any questions, Chuck, other than mine? Thank you for all your hard work throughout this last year. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Table, on items, next item up is, 6K. Discussion possible approval fee schedule for ball field. I think we're going to table that and send that back to, if I remember from our committee, the whole meeting. That was gonna be sent back to Public Works for final discussion and brought back to the board at another time. So we'll move on to L. The Village Park scoreboard installation and electricals. Do we have a number on that yet?
That's $5,125 from Neo Electric.
5,125.
25.
I didn't see that in the packet, that's what I apologize, maybe I didn't catch it. Okay, so we got a number, $5,125, Neo Electric.
That's just for the installation for running the electric. We still gotta figure out the beams.
Right. That's the installation of electrical. They're gonna be putting that in this winter? Or are they gonna wait till frost comes out?
Frost.
We need a motion there, Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
The amount, $5,000.
$125. Motion made, seconded to approve the amount of $5,125 to Neo Electrical for the installation of the electrical to the Village Park scoreboard. And you're right, we'll have to figure out the rest of it later. So that's on the floor. Any further discussion?
The part that we do have to figure out, we did budget for it. So.
Yep. Just a matter of bidding it and getting it done, right? Good. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed nay. Alternate truck routes, Depot and Clucher Streets. We received an email. There was some discussion on the committee of the whole meeting about possible additional signage over there. You want to refer that to, we put it on here for discussion or, opportunities for people to give public comment. And, one individual brought it out, in an email format. I don't know what the pleasure of this board.
I did. Send it to committee.
Is that a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to send it to Public Works and Public Safety.
I would refer to both, just to get their opinions on it both and maybe,
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I hate to speak on the matter, you guys, it's your motion. Okay, motion made and seconded to refer the matter to Public Works and Public Safety Committees for further discussion and or recommendation. Yeah? Discussion?
What can we legally do? Do we
Sign,
know?
more signs?
You can sign it, you can reordinate it, you can change the ordinance and shut the road down from any kind of truck traffic. There's, different
And that
opportunities on.
that becomes enforceable by the police department and all that good stuff.
Right. However, I will caution you on, making any kind of, major changes to thoughtfully think it all the way through, but
Yeah.
you can do whatever you want, when it comes to that matter, under recommendation from staff in that regards.
Fantastic.
Motion made to refer to committee, to committees, yep. Discussion further? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Referred to committee. Water tower. Discussion possible approval, water tower colors and logo.
Move the table.
Second.
Motion made, seconded to move to table. Any discussion? Just final discussion on that quickly is that I think there's still matters that are getting worked out on that before we can actually have a final discussion on the matter as a board, right?
Yeah, hopefully though, by next board meeting, we'll have.
Okay.
The finalized.
Perfect. All in favor, any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. That motion is carried. Matter 6O, discussion possible approval, purchase of a snow blower. In your packet, you'll have a deal here that was brought forth from Bobcat. Bob, do you wanna touch base on that a little bit on this one?
Yeah, our current blower, is pretty, it's limping along, and we just needed to make a replacement on it, so. It's old.
This is what happens when you're running on a shoestring budget, you gotta run as long as you can until you gotta get it fixed, you know, baling wire broke on it this time. So, what's the pleasure of this board?
Make a motion to approve $6,944.93.
I don't second that.
Motion made and seconded to approve the purchase at the numbers that were highlighted by Mr. Garn. All in, any further discussion?
I was just wondering, where's that money coming from?
Outlay.
Whoa, you're
Yeah.
passing the hat.
So we might not-
Coming out of public safety.
There's an outlay budget for that, right?
There's multiple places we'll take it. Utilities use this, so both water, sewer,
Sure, but
streets,
we have.
parks will all take it, and then we'll pull that out of the capital outlay.
Okay. I'm just asking.
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
Good question, but we probably already bought it. So.
Sure.
I guess the issue is
We need-
it coming out of outlay and other
Like
funds,
pretty
right?
much.
Other, what it's called, the
Thanks, Bob.
other funds. Enterprise,
Enterprise.
yeah. So it coming out outlay and enterprise funds, that's the question, to answer
Thank
your
you.
question. Any further discussion? Next year, if it breaks again, we're gonna take it out of the employees' wages. No,
Deal.
Take it out of the trustee wages.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't think there's.
There you go. I'm like, I'll pass the hat. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed. Right, motion carried. All right, last item on new business is, discussion possible approval of temporary placement of wayfind signage for Christ Lutheran Church. In your packet, you received a sign, map. It's got 3 different intersections where there were, posts that were put into the ground. And you also have a picture of the sign.
We're gonna make a motion to approve the
Second.
signage for Christ Lutheran Church until the village creates its own wayfinding signage.
Second.
Motion made, seconded to approve the temporary wayfinding signs until we get our new ones. Any discussion?
Yeah,
We're gonna have a roll call vote on that. I am going to abstain because I am directly involved with this as buildings and grounds of Christ Lutheran Church. Roll call vote on that. Trustee Garn,
aye.
trustee Crone,
Aye.
trustee Marino,
Aye.
trustee Flurd.
Aye.
I abstain.
I will abstain as well.
Trustee Stewart,
Yes.
motion carried.
Guys,
That's it for new business. Old business, Well Riley invoices, that there is nothing to talk about on there. The letter was sent, cease and desist. A request was made, right shortly after the last meeting of the board. And, there has been 0 response from, the firm. So we will continue to keep that on unfinished business until we have more to discuss on the matter. At this point in time, I'd like to make a motion to convene in a closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute, section 19.85, section 1, subsection E, deliberating and negotiating the purchase of public properties, investing of public funds, conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons required a closed session on Main Street property, and also pursuant to section 19.851 subsection C for the purpose of considering employment of police officer candidates.
Second,
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. trustee Garn,
Aye.
trustee Crone.
Aye.
Trustee Marino.
Aye.
Trustee Flurd.
Aye.
Trustee Kern, aye. Trustee Dubek.
Aye.
Trustee Stewart.
Aye.
Motion's carried. We are now moving into closed session. I want to thank you all for coming down here tonight. Hope you have a Merry Christmas. And if we don't see you when we get back, out of closed session. Ready?
Yep.
Motion was made, and seconded to come out of closed session. We are now reconvening into open session. And is there any pleasure of this board on the items discussed in closed session?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve the employment of Noah Bierman effective January 2nd, 2026 to the police officers.
Second.
Motion made, seconded to approve the employment of Noah Bierman,
Effective January 2nd, 2026.
what she said. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, nay. That motion is carried.
I make a second motion to approve extending a conditional offer of employment to Owen Parnell contingent upon successful completion of all required pre-employment evaluations with an anticipated start date in May of 2026.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. I'm not repeating it. All in favor, any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion is carried unanimously. I'd like to make a motion to approve the purchase of lot 1-8-11-030-40000. Lot 181-1030-10-000 and lot 181-1030-30-000 in an amount not to exceed $480,000,
Second.
subject to contingencies of the residential offer to purchase. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm gonna do a roll call vote on that.
Kilgaren, aye. Sorry.
Crone?
Aye.
Moreno?
Aye.
Flirt?
Aye.
Kern? Aye. Dweck?
Aye.
Stewart?
Aye.
That motion carried unanimously by roll call vote. Any further business to come before this, board?
Kilgaren, wishing everyone a Merry Christmas and a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, nay. We are adjourned. Everybody, Merry